Morning, guys. Mark Ferrasci, Protect Dog Training. Heading to Home Depot with puppies and Eros. We're going to work some dogs. Thought I'd talk a little bit about imprinting, right? The imprinting of a puppy is something that will last for the dog's life, right? This time in the dog's life that his mind is the most affected by things that hit him, that you can use for imprinting or for negative. I mean, if you hit him with negative, he's going to be affected by that for the rest of his life. And this development period goes from 8 weeks old, when you most of the time will get a puppy from a litter, but some of my breeding, I start even younger than that. But I'm developing that puppy with everything in my mind, thinking about what the puppy's going to do in life. So most of the time, for me, that's personal protection, right? But just talking to Dante's owner, and I was suggesting to him that he might want to put the dog to work with his nose, because Dante's got such a nose. And he came back and said that they've been thinking about it. They might want to really get serious about putting the dog to work, do a volunteer type of thing for disaster relief or something like that. So when you know what you're going to do with the dog for the life of the dog, and you see some traits in the animal, some strengths, and you start thinking about what do you want to do with this dog, that imprint period is everything. And if you get into nose work and you get around people that do nose work, you see them taking a puppy and developing a puppy for nose work, meaning finding drugs, finding bombs, doing something with their nose that's relative to that. They'll do all kinds of creative things to imprint that puppy when they're young to increase the strength and the drive of those aspects of the animal that are going to be needed. Things like playing hide and seek with the dog's food bowl, where the dog has to work it out himself and go find that food in the morning. And when you do it on a kind of a fun little basis, because you do it every day to feed the dog, and you change that location of the food and put it into an area that the dog may be a little bit obstructed and have to wait a minute, I smell my food, but I can't get to it. I saw one guy doing that thing where they actually put the food in the floorboard of the car, and the dog had to jump over the seat and get over to it and find it on the floorboard of the car. Why? If you're doing a drug dog, that dog's going to be in and out of cars on the interdictions, on the freeways and the highways all the time for law enforcement, right? So this gentleman's talking about doing search and rescue. So you're talking rumble piles, you're talking surfaces that the dog is going to have to touch and be in all kinds of weird little places that the dog's going to have to feel comfortable in if he's going to be doing a disaster type of relief, meaning rumble piles and all that. So it behooves me, if the person is really serious about this, to start getting the dog imprinted with all this. Now, I do this naturally anyway. It's one of the reasons I go to Home Depot. It's one of the reasons that I love to get the dog on the wood piles, where there's a jumble, where there's kind of a lot of different surface type of abnormalities, things that the wood slips out from underneath him. It's all kind of rumble piled out, and I want the dog getting in there and feeling as many things as he can with his feet, being as comfortable as he can. So in Home Depot, they have the overhang of the wood, and the bottom on the floor will be that little rumble pile of wood, and I'm throwing the hot dogs in there, and I'm saying, find it. He's using his nose. He's touching weird little obstructions. Any type of surface that I can see that's going to be beneficial to this little guy, to getting accustomed to it and being imprinted so that he has strength for that when he goes on in life, is very important. I want to give him strength. Even at a baseboard, I don't get creative and take it past that for the most part, but if I was to be wanting to do that, I would. I'd want to find where there's a bunch of rumble piles with cement, an obstruction where they put a pile of cement and the dog's and then I want to kind of hide it down low where the dog has to find this item and use his nose. And we're using food in the beginning, or we're using his play toy. Tennis ball has a smell to it, right? A Kong has a rubber smell to it. If you can get him high on that toy, that's going to be his imprint. Later on down the line, we can take that drive, that want for that, and we can take it anywhere we want to go with it, right? But catching that imprint period is very, very important. And a lot of what I'm doing when I'm doing this with a puppy is just for confidence, to get him so used to doing weird things that nothing phases him. We call it being bomb-proof. I want that dog to be so confident that if a bomb goes off next to him, he sits there and goes, "Ha, what was that?" Right? That's the kind of confidence that I'm talking about, right? And I do this with a young dog because it's related to going towards protection, because we want the dog to be going through anything. It doesn't matter what the bad guy may throw at him. We want that dog to have all that confidence in the world, right? So that's that imprint stage, right? This is what you see me doing a lot of, okay? And then where you want to take it is creative. If you get into a specific of what this dog's job's going to be, I can get into it more. But catching the imprint period is very important, right? That young developing mind, when they're young, will stick with him for the rest of his life, positive or negative, right? Very important. All right, so that's my little yak session for today. Mark Ferrasci, Protect Dog Training, on my way to Home Depot with the dogs. I'll talk to you later. You have a good day, guys. Bye-bye.